Hello, everybody. I have a guest today, and we're going to talk about computer parts. Let's do it. So, hey guys, I'm here with my friend Devin, and we're going to talk about. Say hello, Devin.
What's up, guys? My name is VZR, and this is my man Josh with JPW Studios.
Thank you, my friend.
Yeah,
Today we're going to talk about actually my gaming build for 2016. It's the $1,200 version, and we're kind of just going down the list. We're going to talk about some things about what makes sense, what doesn't make sense, what's practical, and
what's
since
unpractical?
yeah, see him over there, VZR is the more gamer side. I'm more of the technical
Tech
side. So
side.
having both
Yeah,
inputs, I thought
yeah,
was
it's
logical
gonna
and
work
made
out.
sense. So yeah, okay. So let's start with the CPU. Now on the other build, I did say something about using Skylake processors and how I personally wouldn't use it because it's not like the big
Yeah,
enthusiast
yeah.
grade
You
stuff,
you
but
want to run more on the X99 platform because it's more
it
like
pushes more data, so you're able
yeah,
to do
pushing
more
more data.
things
You have more
easily.
cores, you have more threads, you can run faster and better.
Yeah. So, but for gaming, you honestly don't really need much CPU horsepower. You can get away with a decent quad core that clocks relatively well and is relatively stable in whatever configuration you use it. So, and when you're spending more than $1,000 and you don't really have an i7, in my opinion, that's a little bit dumb.
Yeah, personally, for my build that I'm doing,
You're
we're going with
using
the
this chip, right?
yeah, we're gonna use the 6700K in my build whenever it does get built. Because I mean, 4 GHz, it overclocks to 4.4, and that's not even pushing it. I mean, if you do a cold air intake, or not even a cold air
If
intake,
you put an AIO in it, you can get it up even higher,
yeah,
actually.
you can go to 4.6, 4.7. I've watched a few videos where guys push it all the way to almost 4.9, which is like
A little dumb and a little
it's
crazy, but
godlike almost. I mean, you get to 5, holy crap, people are gonna poop
if you get up
themselves.
to 5 gigahertz, you can reach up and touch the hands of God.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Not endorsing that, but that's okay. So I chose this core because, or I chose this chip because I know it's going to work well. A lot of builds are heavily circulated around this chipset, so I know it was going to work well. Again, I've not personally used this chip, but it's an i7, it's from Intel, and it's a quad core, so
It
that's
you
good in
know
my
it's
book.
gonna work. Intel
Yeah.
backs their work. It's good quality
Yeah, it's a lot better than AMD. Let's come on,
for
man.
sure.
All right, so now coolers. I went the same cooler as the last time. It's a single 140 rad, but it comes with two fans still, so you can do that push pull configuration. It's a good fan in here. I what's the RPMs on this? Sorry, it's
I think it's 3600, 3700.
no, it's actually 24. But these
4.
fans push a ridiculous amount of air.
Yeah.
Um, my father's rig has the larger version of this that comes with the same amount of fans, and it they're fine, especially in this push pull configuration.
Yeah.
You're able to shove more air through that
Yeah.
rad,
See,
cool
I
it
disagree
down.
with you though. I'm the guy that
Well, you
wants to
want
build a
dual rads just to
PC,
say you have
and
dual rads.
yeah, I wanna boast and be like, dude, you have single rad? That's trash. No, I want double rad. So when I built mine, I went with the Corsair H105. I mean, it's the dual rad. It's 240 millimeters. It's huge. It's almost ridiculous, but you know your CPU is not going to be burning up. I mean,
And
it's
it's not
Corsair.
going to burn up with this cooler either.
Yeah,
It's
it
it's
won't. You'll be
this cooler
fine.
will do just fine, but the other one, especially if you want to
If you
like
want to be
dabble in the
cool and say
overclocking
I
realm.
have double rads, then go with the
Yeah,
H105.
and if you want to do some more heavy duty stuff on a regular basis that's not strictly for gaming. Now, if you're gaming every day, like streaming every day, then you might want to look into a little bit bigger cooler. But if you're like this casual
And
gamer or anything,
let's
you can
be
get away with
honest.
this
I
cooler
mean,
or a cheap air cooler and you'd be fine.
I was like, if you have the 6700K, you don't plan on too much gaming, just simple games that don't pull a lot of graphics or stuff. You can honestly go with a Core Master Evo 12 or one
Oh
of the
yeah,
12.
that's like the legendary cheapo air cooler that works well.
It's $30. You can pick it up at Best Buy for God's sakes. Like, I
You can
mean,
get them
you're
at
not.
Best Buy.
Yeah, you can get them at Best Buy, dude. I saw it the other day.
Oh,
I was
I
impressed.
actually
I,
didn't know that.
yeah, I think it was $47, but I mean, Fry's right now is boasting it at 40, so $7. But hell, you have to drive 30 minutes.
Well, yeah, but I'd rather buy high-end gear, or really just any computer gear
Oh
at
yeah,
Fry's than Best Buy any day. No, if I'm buying like RAM, I don't really care. Or storage, dude, storage at Best Buy is cheap.
storage is cheap. They have some really good Kingston drives. I actually bought one the other day. I need you to help me install it actually, or throw
Okay.
it in, whatever. we'll do that. Yeah, I right now I have it's 120 by Kingston. I mean, I got a good deals on sales, only $32. So I
Yeah,
would like.
actually, there's one of those in this build, but we'll get to that.
Oh,
So
sweet,
so
awesome.
moving on, motherboard again is pretty much the exact same motherboard. Oh no, my Wi-Fi's going slow. There it goes. It's pretty much the same motherboard, except this one does not come with Wi-Fi, but there's a Wi-Fi PCI chip in there, so you're still gonna have
So just
actually
a
faster
PCI chip.
Wi-Fi. Actually,
Awesome.
there's a Wi-Fi module in here, so you'll still have Wi-Fi. You have to plug it in yourself. This board didn't come with one because this board didn't come with
Now
one.
is this motherboard a dual SLI configuration, or is it
Actually,
just a
this is a full ATX motherboard, so it's actually
so
got
it's
three
ATX?
three
Oh,
16x slots in it. So in theory, you could have up to three-way SLI, but
but
again, I
that's
wouldn't
over.
really do that. Two-way is kind of my limit when it comes to
Yeah.
stuff like that. But okay,
I,
so
I,
RAM, again, Corsair Vengeance LPX memory. It's good memory. It's relatively actually DDR4 is so cheap now. I remember when DDR4 came out, it was
it was
stupid.
stupid crazy.
Like
Now,
this same kit, I built a rig on, or I built one out on paper here that used
mhm,
this exact kit. Right now
mhm.
it's like 40-ish bucks, 39.99, 40
Now,
bucks.
now I kind of want to disagree. I'm gonna say this here. I'm more of a Ripjaw fan. Like, if
Oh
you
yeah,
get to
yeah, yeah,
play
yeah, yeah.
still Ripjaw,
I mean,
and
RAM is RAM, but
RAM is
I'm a
RAM,
Corsair guy.
but it can also go faster. Let's be honest here.
Well,
I mean,
gaming, the speed of RAM doesn't really do anything. The speed of RAM doesn't
that's
really do
that's
anything.
true.
Now,
But
capacity of RAM, that that
now,
kind of can contribute.
why are you only running 8 gigs? Why didn't you do a 16 or 2 by
That
8?
is an excellent question because most games, especially right now, don't really use more than about 4 to 6 gigs of
Four to
RAM when
six. I was like,
at
maybe
full
if you're doing
usage. And also, as I explained in my other video, if you have a quad-core CPU, the rule of thumb for each core, physical core that you
1 to 2
have about
gigs.
2 gigs of RAM because it uses about 1 1/4, 1 1/2 at its
Yep.
highest point. And if you get two for each, you won't be bottlenecked by your RAM. Now you can get more, and you can definitely fill up more. You can actually buy two of these kits and fill up in quad channel slots. So you have
Now
enough.
does this motherboard have enough room for all that?
Oh yeah, I think it's got 8 DIMMs in it, and this one's a 2 DIMM set, so you'll run in quad
Oh yeah.
channel.
Oh yeah,
But
you'll be fine.
I'd rather, if you can buy RAM in in as many slots as you can, I would actually recommend that as the highest capacity that you could buy. Because if you run it in like dual channel or quad channel, there is some performance differences. But
Oh yeah, I
again,
do
there's
agree
also a
with
bit of a thing that if you buy and fill up all your slots, you want to upgrade later, that means you have to replace all
now.
those and buy more when
I'm
you
gonna go ahead and
redo it.
butt in, and I'm gonna ask,
Go for it.
why instead of upgrading your Corsair fan so much, why didn't you just buy a regular fan and then go ahead and do a fan for your RAM so you can run your RAM cool?
A fan for the RAM?
Yeah, fan for the RAM.
No, huh, that sounds funny. Actually, this is low. This is
It,
low
it
profile
it's
RAM, and
yeah, it's a
really
low
RAM
budget,
does
but
not get that hot.
typically not. But I
The
mean,
two
now
actually three major components that generate heat are the CPU, your
yeah,
graphics card, and in some rare instances your motherboard. And really, you can actually put your hard drives in between your motherboard and that because your hard drives spin up if you're using traditional drives and you're using them like crazy. Now, again, these are very low things here, but
I was
RAM
like,
doesn't really get that hot. Now you can get some like even the Corsair Dominator Platinum series has heat fins in it, which actually look really cool.
yeah,
I enjoy that the
yeah,
look of
they
that
look.
RAM, but you don't really need it, especially in this type of rig and in this scenario. Low profile, cheapo type RAM will get you by, and you will do
And
just fine.
now I'm sure when we get to the case later, I'm sure the case has an easy push-pull configuration, so you're always
Oh
gonna
yeah,
keep that
the
inside nice.
case has some stuff. Now let's move on to storage in interest of time. So
Yeah.
we're using that hard drive that SSD we were talking about earlier. I actually really would actually I'm about to buy one of these for my laptop here because they're relatively cheap. It's fast
The
and it's an
2.5 dollar
SSD.
drive.
And in any rig, if you're gonna go above 900-ish bucks, go ahead and invest in an SSD as your boot
SSD.
drive because they're faster, they're usually more reliable, and
It's
they're
better
actually
for
smaller.
rendering.
And since they're faster, and especially if you're loading like giant games, like from anything from Bethesda,
League
those
of
any
Legends.
or something
Yes.
like that,
Fallout.
when you're opening those large worlds, it's gotta load all that. And
Yeah.
actually, on this computer that I have right now, it has a 7200 RPM drive, and every time it hits the loading page, my drive goes up to 100% usage because it's trying to do that,
Yeah.
and So having an SSD as just your boot drive, even you can put like your major programs or like your favorite games that you're currently playing on that
Yeah,
drive,
yeah, I
and
agree
you're
with
gonna
that.
run just fine. Now for mass storage, a traditional drive
Yeah,
is
I would do just
preferable.
a regular hard drive. I mean, it's not gonna hurt. I mean
Either a
that.
terabyte or as much as you think you're gonna need, but as like the basis is an SSD of your capacity of choice, and then a
Yeah, and for some
traditional hard drive with the
people,
capacity of
I,
your choice.
I don't know about Josh, but for some people, I mean, if you're not gonna be doing a lot of rendering and whatnot, you might just want to do two hard drives or that are 60 gigs each, because you can store different things on those hard drives and allows it to open a lot faster, as he did say. Because you
60
have,
gig SSDs? Is that what you're
yeah,
saying?
yeah,
What would you do with them? Like raid them together?
yeah, you could rate them together, but they're
Well,
still gonna
that's
be separate.
difficult. Not many people know how to raid.
Oh,
So if you
but I
don't
mean,
know how to do that, go
it's
with
YouTube.
this.
You
But
can
if you
find a video.
do, you can do that. I
Yeah,
don't know where you can buy. I don't know where you can buy that, but
Fries,
anyways, well,
Fries does have them.
okay, well, whatever. Now, video card. Now, it's actually you don't know how hard it is to pick a video card. You have no idea how hard it is to pick a video card, especially on any price point. It's hard. Whether it's
It's hard.
super
It is.
enthusiast or low budget, it's really hard, especially now because you can go almost any direction and you just be just fine. But I chose the EVGA 970. I'm actually probably going to end up putting two of these in Photon, which is my computer, instead of the WindForce ones, even though I really like the WindForce cooler from Gigabyte. But EVGA, we actually have two EVGA brand video cards in our rigs in our office over here, and they work like a champ. Now, granted,
Now,
some of them can be loud, and the little
yeah.
ACX cooler can be loud at sometimes, but dude,
Now,
they
you
perform
know,
well.
I want to disagree with him. So I know some of the new games that are coming out. Who is it? Geez, I don't even know the name, but I know someone's coming out with the game right now that you need 6 gigs just to run the game. And personally, in my rig, I'm gonna go with the MSI R9 390 gaming. It's roughly the same price,
Is it
but
the
it
six
does
gig
run it.
thing that's their answer to the 970?
Yeah,
Which now
I
we
mean,
should, actually let's talk about VRAM now since we're talking about that.
yeah,
VRAM is basically RAM for your graphics
yeah,
processing
it's for
chip.
your graphics card. Yeah,
Basically now graphics cards have become so big now that they're kind of like small computers in themselves. They have a CPU, they have their own cooler, their own RAM, and their own
yep,
cache actually, which is but
mind blowing.
VRAM is what that's
Yeah.
for. And actually, for most 1080p titles and if medium to ultra settings, yes, medium to ultra, so there's high in there. 2 gigabytes of VRAM, especially GDDR5, which is the current
Yeah.
VRM right now, you're gonna run just fine on almost any CPU. Almost any CPU. Now I say almost because you can get dirt cheap and
Now
have
I've never
bottlenecking
played
issues,
with the
but
970, but I have played with the 980 when my brother actually gave me one. But now I mean I don't even have a graphics card. I'm running off.
Intel stuff right
Yeah,
now.
it's trash. That's why I'm building a rig. Yeah, but no, when I had the 980, I don't know with the 970, but EVGA definitely puts out some good products. I'll be honest, they're super stable. The 980 was really quiet,
Yeah,
and
on
I
my
mean, I
dad's
could run
770,
games
we were
flawless.
pushing Fallout 4 on 1080p at its ultra setting because he wanted to see how well it would run on his card, and we pushed an overclock of 20% on that card.
Yeah,
20%
that
above
I didn't have
its
to ever
boost
super
clock.
clock
Now, I
the
don't remember the exact megahertz of
980,
what it
but it
was,
worked.
but through Precision X on EVGA's utility, we got it up to 20% above, and I was actually blown away, which is really cool. But this graphics card is going to do you just fine,
Yeah, I mean,
especially
honestly,
now and in the
you don't even have
future.
to you don't have to play games at stupid graphics. If you played it high and just go ahead and upgrade your frame rate and overclock it,
Yeah,
whatnot,
you
you'll
can
be
boost your
running clear.
resolution on this card and still be okay because that 4
Yeah,
gigabytes of VRAM is going to
it's
allow more textures to be put
yep.
in there, so you can increase your resolution
Oh
and
yeah,
gain up your textures, and it's going to support it. It's going to do just fine. Now, Case, I found this Bitphoenix thing. I personally don't
oh, the
like
over the ATX big
Bitphoenix.
tower.
This isn't it's an since it's an ATX board. This is an ATX tower, but I really just chose an inexpensive ATX case. You can go with whatever you want. It's just that will factor into your budget.
Yeah, it
So
factors into your budget. I mean, it's a $1,200 summer build. You got to count to keep it cheap. You have to suffer in some spots.
yeah, you do have to. I mean, you
And
can get one without a side panel
I
and get
mean,
it like
yeah, a
$30
case is a
cheaper.
good way to.
That's
Case
actually
is
it's
a
a
good way
little
to
bit
cut back
dumb
because
sometimes.
if anything, guys, if you want to have that side panel so everybody can see your rig, just take off your side panel and get some plexiglass from Home Depot and put it on there. It's jerry
Hey,
rig,
that's an
but
idea.
holy crap.
20 bucks is $20 of plexiglass.
Yeah, and there you go. Now your case looks like your golden boy $100 case, but in reality, you
And
paid.
it's custom, so you can be like, yo, I built that case.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah, and all right, now power supply. Now, again, it's a little. There's a lot of misconceptions when it comes to your power supply, but really, I'm just gonna ask you to stay with this and not really question it unless you want to question it
750
because
watts. It's plenty.
it's 750
For the
watts.
motherboard, your graphics card, the SSD, everything, you're
Actually,
not gonna
with this graphics card,
you're gonna have
you can
plenty of
SLI your graphics cards with this. I'm sorry, with this power supply, you can SLI your graphics cards with this. And the reason why I got this is because if you wanted to upgrade your parts in the future, like buying a second card or putting in like a bigger graphics card in the future, or running just, I don't know, an obscene amount of fans, this power supply will support it, and you're gonna be just fine. All right, so now what's next on this list? Windows 10. If you don't have an operating system, you need Windows.
Why'd you go to with Windows 10? Why not Windows 7? I mean, a lot of people really like.
Well, because right now the current thing is Windows 10, so a lot more things are going to be supported quicker with Windows 10.
Okay, but everything's already supported by Windows 7 or Windows 8, though.
It can, but actually, like dollar per dollar, even though it's like marginally, Windows 10 is cheaper. But really, any Windows right now, Windows in general, just get a copy of Windows for your computer.
They're good deals.
I mean, we can debate about which OS is better, but it's Windows.
We'll be here all night if we do.
It's Windows. All right, and then you got a little Wi-Fi adapter, which this one is a pretty standard Wi-Fi. There actually is a little bit bigger one than this. It's a PCIe N10, which is a standard 802.11 wireless card, but it's just PCI based, which means it'll be a little bit faster. So
is that internal or is it external?
No, it's internal. It plugs right into a 1X PCI slot, which on this motherboard and in this case, you just have to find a place where it can go.
Some people like the external dongles because it's easy to remove and you can just go anywhere with it.
You can buy a little USB dongle if you want to. Just plug it in the back or whatever you want.
They're going to run just as good. I have one by
it's about the same price. They're about the same price. Now, I chose that one because I would rather have a PCI-based one, in my opinion. Therefore, it's still in the box. It's not this giant USB dongle sticking out or something like that.
Mine's not that big. Mine's like 2 inches.
Well, that's 2 inches outside your case. And that's personal preference. But really, the reason why I got this is because this motherboard doesn't have wireless on it. So, and most people use wireless these days. Now, if you're not using wireless and you have like an Ethernet port or a gigabit LAN port right next to you, sure, get yourself an Ethernet cord and plug it in. That? Yeah, but not many people do. So, wireless. But if you're in a position that's like, hey, I'm right next to the router, or hey, I'm right next to a LAN port, then plug it in. You're going to be fine. That's an extra $10 that you can spend somewhere else.
Exactly, yeah.
All right, so that actually sums up our rig. So do you have any final thoughts, Devin, or you just...
Nah. Honestly, that's a pretty good $1,200 setup. I mean, I don't know. I can't think of any games off the top of my head that you won't be able to run with that. I mean, that's a summer build. You put in a few hours every week or go mow some lawns, watch some kids.
Save your allowance, your part-time job funds, stuff like that. Easy.
And honestly, I mean, some of your parents might not want to help, but I know my parents, like...
Yeah, you're buying your CPU right now, right?
Yeah, my parents are buying my CPU, so, I mean, hell, that saves me $350, $400. I mean, if I can...
Which goes into, I don't know, a second graphics card or something like that.
Second graphics card. Oh, yeah, I can easily...
Or a bigger graphics card. Like, I really would like a 980 Ti, but I'm getting two 970s. Why? Because they're actually a little bit less expensive.
You know what, Josh? Hey, on my build, let's go ahead and do two 970s.
If you want to do it, I can definitely put that together.
Let's go ahead and do the two 970s because, I mean, hell, it's not 8 gigs.
You can do it.
8 gigs, and it's just going to run quicker and faster.
Yeah, well, that's debatable, but roughly the speed and specs of a 980 Ti is roughly about the same speed and specs of a two 970s, which sound a little bit daunting, but
get the 970
that's what it is.
SSD, the super clock. Now, would that equal out to a 980 or no?
The reason why it says super clock on here, which is actually a great question, the reason why it says super clocked is because it comes factory overclocked to a certain level.
Now for the new guys that are building computers, is that dangerous at all?
No.
Lifespan?
It just means that the factory who produce these cards or remanufacture these cards, like this, if you actually look up a reference 970, it doesn't look like this. It doesn't look like it. It looks like the standard NVIDIA thing. Now, this one, EVGA, this is what's called a custom PCB and a custom cooler graphics card. Now, if you see in the little corner of the box say ACX 2.0, that's the name of the cooler that you see with the two fans, little EVGA logo, little blue things on it.
Yeah.
That's the name of the cooler. And they've actually taken the chip and taken this stuff, quiet dog, all stuff from the reference GPU and made their own PCB to fit either to fit their cooler or to fit their enthusiast grade or whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
So you can buy a reference card. They can sometimes be a little bit more expensive and be a little bit less underclocked.
But they're gonna run better.
The only difference between this one and a reference is factory overclock speed. Like, let's say this one's at like 1200 megahertz base clock, and this one from EVGA is 1300 megahertz base clock. It just means the factory has clocked it differently than what the reference has. That's where the super clock comes in. That's where the extreme overclock stuff comes in.
Yeah.
Now, is that bad as a buyer? No.
No.
Now, what you
be
can
fine.
do to save some money sometimes, because usually when the factory overclock, they kind of put that price premium stuff on it. It's like, hey, we clocked it up 50 megahertz, we can sell it for like 20 more bucks.
No,
And they'll
no.
do that. And they have the right to do that. It's still a service that they do, so they can do that. But if you know to overclock, and actually nowadays
just buy a regular one.
buy
and do it
a
yourself.
normal
It's not
chip
that hard.
and overclock to your heart's content, or overclock to where it's stable and you can just
You feel safe. Yeah.
Alright guys, that actually kind of sums up our video. If you like this video, please hit the like button. Please comment if you have any questions for me and or Devin on his channel, VZR. Put a
Go
little
ahead and
thingy.
comment and
put a little
I'll
thingy
give
down
guys
there for you.
answers and-
Or
Is
if you
that
just want to say hi, want to brag about computer building skills, or brag about your own rig. What you rocking? Rocking like a Intel graphics like my friend over here right now, or you're rocking a NVIDIA graphics card, or an AMD, which is fine.
Whatever your heart desires.
Whatever your heart desires.
Go ahead
Alright
and,
guys,
leave a
I'll
comment
see you
about it.
later.
I'll see you guys later.
Bye.